Hey, folks, good evening. It is Wednesday, April 16th at 8:03 p.m. We're a little bit late tonight. You have myself, Instructor Fogg, professor, and the specialist down there on the corner. Um, this is going to be our last show. It's the title. The title of this show is "The Fat Lady Sings" because it's over. Um, all of us are sick of the politics. We've been poisoned by the politics, or we've succumbed to the poison of politics. And we're going to move on and do something different here. I think. We've got some other ideas for our loyal followers. If you have anything of interest that you want us to maybe continue on with some kind of shows, let us know. Just email us or send text. You know how to get a hold of us. Because we're going to try to keep this going. Maybe do some cold cases or maybe the training stuff. We're going to take a bit of a break, though, because we're all pretty much worn out. I think we need to see something here, I believe. What is that? The specialist is wearing some kind of a special hat there, but he doesn't have his camera mirrored, so he can't read it because it's just backwards. So what does your hat say there, buddy? It's backwards. I can't read it in reverse. Something about something about a skeleton in a butt hole membership.
Whisperer.
No, butthole whisperer. Oh, it's like a horse whisperer. I mean, if you whisper in a butthole, do you get an echo? Or like if a butthole falls in the forest, does anybody hear it scream? Or how does that work exactly? Are you just gonna stay silent and not say anything about anything?
I don't know. I hate to ruin the fucking surprise.
Okay.
Did I say the F word? Sorry.
Yeah, but it's okay. It's the last show. Like I said, it makes absolutely no difference. Say whatever the hell you want. Okay. In all seriousness, remember, folks, this is an 18 plus rated show. It is not suitable for children or those with delicate sensibilities who are easily offended. That said, YouTube, don't kick us off. And even though it is the last time, I hate to get banned halfway through the show because I'm sure language is going to get. We're all feeling pretty salty tonight. So if you don't
That's
like
all right.
it,
I'm going to bring it around full circle at the end. It's going to be great.
there you go. Just tough shit. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started here. Usual sponsors: I12 GIA, Peace of Mind Training. I thought maybe somebody from Peace of Mind was going to be able to join us. That I sent him a link, but apparently he's not in here either. We may have Nomad back. He's wandering around somewhere as usual. All right, let's get started. Who wants to start this off tonight?
Senator Van Hollen. Are you kidding me? So
you mean Congressman Van Hall and Senator Booker?
So you can find El Salvador, but you can't find the southern border. Can somebody explain that to me?
Yeah, it's spelled DEMOCRAT.
Correct.
Correct spelling on that.
No shit.
So now, just so I can wrap my head around this, right? We haven't talked about any of the American hostages that Hamas had. We're not talking about any of the Christian hostages, Jewish hostages, right? We're not talking about any of that. But they will go, right? Just like AOC crying kids in cages, right? They'll go to El Salvador to retrieve a gang member terrorist and bring him back.
Yeah,
it's like this is an alternate reality. Like this can't be it.
It's called the Twilight Zone.
Ooh.
What was that? What was it? The Truman Show? Remember that? Something about
yes.
Yeah. Good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
Right, or something from like Mad Magazine, maybe, or National Lampoon, or it's a fucking joke. What are these fucking Democrats thinking? Jesus Christ! They drugged Joe Biden out from whatever rock he's been hiding under, and propped him up there to run in his mouth for 30 minutes or so.
That was a disaster.
Yesterday.
He what?
He made a comeback yesterday.
Come back from what, as a preface to going away? Jesus Christ, just go shut the fuck up and go back in your hole. But the optics of that were so horrible. He's back to the same shit. That's just the way he is, yelling at people and talking shit and saying something about how he rode a bus and never saw any
if Trump
Or black
said
children
if
before.
Trump said colored kids, that would
Colored
be it.
kids, yeah. Oh yeah, hell yeah.
They'd run with this for the next 2 months.
You know what in the average Democrat's brain is so unwired that they thought that was a good idea. You know, it makes no sense to me. And then, as you said, you got that dumbass down in El Salvador trying to recover. I mean, what do you? Yeah,
All right. I'm going to seal this argument right here. Okay.
Okay.
Not one Democrat went looking for the 300,000 missing children. But we're going to go ahead, jump on a plane, and go try and get a terrorist back into the country.
This was the same congressman, senator, whatever he is, that voted against, apparently, or wouldn't vote for the Lincoln Riley Act after she was brutally murdered. Which during the press conference or the White House briefing today, they brought Mom up and had her discuss that whole incident. What a fucking shit show, man! What a horror story. You know, they should be ashamed. They should be ashamed of themselves. They really should. You know.
And that's the thing is to the people listening or watching, or when you see this video later on, right? There are many things that your government does that you don't know about that are really bad, and they're supposed to be representing the people, and they haven't been representing us for quite some time. So, you know, this is another classic example of we're going to go get the person that's going to vote for us, not the people that are actually living here, right? Not the people that were born and raised here, not the people that are actually paying taxes.
Right.
It's disgusting.
So while we're on that topic, apparently there's a lot of flooding, I guess, in Kentucky, in that area. I mean, just acres and acres and acres of farmland have been decimated for the last several years. And it has something to do with the dam, I guess, that the government built like 30 years ago in that area. And now it's overflowing and flooding. And they interviewed a farmer out there earlier today, and apparently there's a process by which when natural disasters, the government can actually claim eminent domain to damaged property and then give recompensation to the property owners, you know, at a value, certain value, to clear that property. But apparently there's something in the Biden and, Obama and Biden administration both have refused to do that. They said, go ahead and take the property, but don't settle the claims, which is a direct violation of the Fifth Amendment against eminent domain. So that's a whole new issue that's blowing up from those two dickheads. On other,
that's what the hat says.
it's still backwards, but that's okay. Butthole whisperer. Okay, lovely hat. I don't even want to know how you came up with whispering in buttholes, but you know.
Kiki Hernandez.
Oh yeah, okay. Oh, that's right. Some baseball player guy that sent you that hat. Okay, so moving along from that part, I guess the UK Supreme Court just decided that women are women and men are men and trans women are not women. So they made that official now.
How long till they're all arrested for hate crimes?
There you have it. The other thing is, now on the other end of the pond, way down on the bottom, another since Australia was founded by the United Kingdom, where they sent all their prisoners to this desert out there, they decided that dogs now are a threat to society because of global warming and climate change. And
I saw that.
And all that stupid shit. So I don't know exactly how they think they're going to be getting rid of the world's dogs.
They're going to be killing them.
Yeah. Go ahead, knock yourself out, buddy. You're more than welcome to come my front door, you know, and try that stupid shit. What the fuck is wrong with these people? I mean, because their toilets flush counterclockwise.
You can't trust anybody. You can't even trust the FBI or the Secret Service. Like I told you, my experience with both of them yesterday.
Yep, you really can't. Speaking of which, let's talk about. You have a question there, specialist, that you had that you wanted. Did you want me to ask that question, or you just asking? Okay, what do Letitia James and Ilhan Omar have in common?
They were both married to relatives. Ilhan was married to her brother. Tisha was married to her father.
Yep. Mortgage company fraud.
What do they say? Incest is best.
Yeah, but only
I
on
thought
paper.
that
though.
only happened in Seabrook. I didn't think it happened in Minnesota or New York, but
Uh,
I've been wrong. This
yeah, what
twice in my life I've been wrong.
Yeah, what do we know? Which now, since we got that out of the way, do you want to discuss your other topic?
The China syndrome, yeah. So
Okay.
today I found out that DOE is having a meltdown because I guess in 2019 the Trump administration seized a gargantuan
Hi, Annie.
what do they call it? Generator, whatever, from Houston, Texas, and they shipped it to a Army lab or Air Force lab in California to study it, and they found out that this device manufactured by the Chinese used to run our power grids actually had a backdoor hardware shutoff. So it could be shut off from anywhere in China. Now, Trump signed an executive order outlawing all these things. Biden's first day in office, he did away with it. So currently, as of today,
Okay.
according to this Intel guy, there are like 436 of these devices in operation, which run our power grids, which China has the ability just to, somebody from a laptop in Wuhan just got to hit a command on the computer and bang, power grids go down.
Just push a button, huh?
Yep.
Well,
So here's my question. So we all know why Biden did away with Trump's executive orders, but why, I guess, hasn't Trump done anything to curtail this?
well, that's a valid question, but we don't know. We don't know what's going on.
All right, let me ask this question then. Forget I even brought up Trump. Why are there like 436 of them still in use?
That's a great question. Yeah. Why is our power grid pretty much? Why are we buying all of our transformers and shit from China?
So let's back up now to COVID-19. I hate to bring that subject up again, but we're going to. Remember all the ships that were sitting off the coast of LA, the port of Los Angeles? So all those cranes are manufactured in China, but they're also powered by China from China. So I guess, again, China has the ability to throw a switch anytime they want and shut down the port of LA. So for the life of me, I can't see why Trump is like imposing tariffs on them.
Well, there's an answer for that question, and it's four letters in the alphabet. ICBM, I think, is the deterrent for China, which is what the whole purpose of. That's why we have nuclear weapons.
Yeah.
And if you shut off the entire power grid of the United States of America, I know what the response would be. They would be quick.
But just the fact that the United States government has given them the
ability to do it. Yeah, I agree.
The ability to do it.
Well,
why? But
look at our communications network.
Yeah.
Right. Look at all those cell towers that are by military bases. They're not just by military bases. They're all throughout the country, and they're made with Chinese parts.
Yeah.
So there's that, right? There's our entire communication system.
Let's not forget the weather balloon.
The weather balloons, all the property that China owns within the country, they're just military bases. And who knows how many people are actually there that are Chinese nationals or Chinese military.
So I heard that again. This is only third-party rumor that Kristi Noem seized all those properties.
I'd heard that also, yeah, or is in the process of, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, as it should be, that's. But they've been it's just because.
But I'm sure some Democrat's going to find a Democrat federal judge to give China back their property.
Well, they're going to try.
Yep.
See, that's how these politicians go into office making $175,000 a year, and 4 years later come out worth millions and millions of dollars. And that's exactly how they do it. They sure as hell didn't earn that money. It was slipped under the table to them from places like China and all these other and special interest groups and all the rest of them. That shit's got to stop. And the only way that's going to stop is if people start getting locked up. I don't know if that's ever going to happen or not. But
So I saw an article. I saw an article today. Barack and Michelle split up their assets. They split up $70 million in assets.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
And the divorce is they're gonna make it. So how do you go from being a community activist, right?
Unknown community activist.
Exactly. To being a United States Senator with a salary, what, $174,000?
Mm-hmm.
They're having a net worth of $70 million. How do you do that?
Well, according to them, it was because people bought their books.
That should have been the first question that anybody ever asked. I mean, for 4 years, all we heard was quid pro quo with Trump, right? The stupid phone call with Zelensky, kids in cages. That's all we listened to, right? So tell me, it's very basic. Can anybody answer the question? Your salary is $177,000 a year. Why do you have $77 million, Senator Warren? Can you please tell me? Why isn't anybody asking the questions? I mean, we, for 4 years we asked Joe Biden, "Hey, sir, how's the tapioca? How is your what ice cream are you eating today?"
Yeah.
Nobody wants to ask the questions, right? Because they're all on the take. And I'm sorry, but if half my neighbors around me right now knew what was going on, they'd be pretty pissed.
One would think. How does AOC go from being a no-name bartender from someplace in New York and a tiny little district to a politician there to be worth $20 million 4 years later? How the hell does that happen?
Exactly. And we just found a picture of her sitting in a $1,000+ seat on a first class cabin on an airline going to bitch about climate change
Bernie
to somebody.
Sanders or something. Yeah.
Give me a break. Come on.
Well, that's the poison of politics. That's how we open the show. It's the poison of politics. Is it going to take somebody like cutting it open and sucking the venom out, or what's going to happen here? Because if not, our nation's going to die if this shit keeps up. The patient isn't going to survive. So something has got to give.
And honestly, that's what Elon's trying to do, right? And we're still seeing them. They're still running each other off the road. Again, is a Christian, that's very sad, but as somebody that's kind of sick of all this shit, it's fucking funny.
Yeah,
okay. They're still spray painting their cars. They're still, every Tesla I'm driving by, I'm looking at, and I'm trying to get away from because I don't want some psychopath ramming into them and hitting me at the same time. Right? So you can't reason with these people. Therefore, you can't have honest, logical debate, and you can't have real progress.
It's like a world of delusion we're in now. This shit about the Amazon rocket thing going up or whatever the hell that was. What in the
fake
world?
News?
That couldn't have been any more fake. I mean,
that girl was as much as much in outer space as I am all the time.
Well, yeah, it's like about 124 miles up or something like that, and
I get a nosebleed driving to work every day. I don't go online. I was in outer space.
Well, they did.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but if you put that much plastic inside a capsule and fired it off with 36,000 pounds of thrust, you would have come back with like Tupperware melted in the microwave. That just didn't happen.
The microplastics in their brain must look like fake tits
or something.
You mean to tell me that rocket actually took off? I'm sorry, not one of them blew chunks all over the next one. So. Come on, no, we've known astronauts that have been fighter pilots, bomber pilots that have trained their entire life, get sent up in a rocket the first time and blow their lunch all over the cockpit. There's no way these women went up there and they came down and everything was fine. Notice how they opened the door, then they shut it, then they got the tool to open it. Can you tell me, where were the fucking burn marks for re-entry? Where was that?
Yeah, and the way,
come on, it just didn't happen.
The parachute drop, they should come back. It hit the ground hard, man. All this dust and shit flies up. And they come out, not a nail broken, not a hair out of place.
Nothing.
Just all kinds of. There's just it's.
Which one of them get out and just the ground?
All of them, I think.
Well, it was funny. Yeah, Katie came out. She threw down a cloth to kneel on, but then she put her lips to the
Right,
dirt.
and held
Give me a
up some kind
break.
of flower or some such shit that she took up there was.
Yeah.
But they believed that shit though. And that's the scary part. And a whole bunch of their supporters too. I was watching that on Twitter today too, and somebody was talking shit about just like what you said about the door. And somebody said, "Well, yeah, that was staged. I mean, they had to open it up first, and so it'd be easier to open the door. The specialist had to get the door open first, but they wanted to make it look like so that was it was okay.
Hey,
it
I
was
wasn't
actually
on
real.
that flight. Don't blame me for that.
Yeah, but it was just but it was staged. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but that's okay though. Come on, it's just I don't know.
Well, I think those are the first leftists to finally say what a woman was.
That's a good point.
Hey,
Yeah.
Right?
did anybody else see the woman that was married to a tree today?
I saw something about that. Yeah, wasn't it like a mighty?
Thank God I missed
like an
that
oak tree
one.
or something.
She's married to an oak tree.
Yeah, well, that's okay. You got people married to their cars. And,
This world is spinning off its axis.
it really is.
Need Jesus to come back.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Speaking of which, where's the outrage for the 40 Christians that were just butchered in Nigeria? Where's
Oh,
that?
shit,
There's none.
that's old news. That's not even that's
None.
no news.
Right? No, and this coinciding with the Muslim movement of wanting to take over the country. There was a I think it was an imam who said that Muslims in American society they originally wanted to convert, but now they must convert or the country must fall.
Right.
They're in Michigan, so how
At what
do you
point-
have a conversation with that?
You don't.
That's right in the Quran. Either you convert and become one of them, or you got to pay a tax and be able to live, or they behead you. So,
Yeah. At what point did those?
in my
become terrorist
case,
organizations?
I'm not paying a tax. I'm not converting, and I got a shitload of 30-round magazines. Good luck in trying to get them to fucking convert me.
Yeah, that's not going to happen either.
I'm going to take a lot of them with me.
Oh boy. Let's see. We're just kind of spitballing all of this. We covered specialists. We covered all of your topics, I believe. We got the weird butthole whisperer hat, and we got the China syndrome. And
Hey! I regret the insults on the hat.
You resemble the insults on the hat. And we got Letitia and Omar or Ilhan. Ilhan, whatever her name is. Omar, yeah, Ilhan Omar, whatever. What else do we want to talk about? It's our final show. We got to have something big.
Spit it out.
Well,
Let's keep going.
something that hits a little bit close to home. Did you see that Houston 911 operator got busted for hanging up on 800 calls?
No, I didn't see that one.
No, me neither. What the hell?
Yeah, so if you do a Google, don't be surprised. But there was an operator that hung up on 800 calls, and because she didn't feel like talking to people right then and there, that was her excuse. I don't know if DEI was a factor, but having had some experience in that industry, 800 calls is a lot, right? Depending on size of the system, however many shifts you work. But if it's full time and you alone have answered 800 calls and hung up, they knew about that for a while.
Mm-hmm.
I worked in a large dispatch center, and we knew our good ones and our bad ones, and people knew this was happening. One guy said his wife was unresponsive. She was pulseless, called this. He said, "I need an ambulance. My wife passed out." She goes, "Okay," hung up. He had to call back and get somebody else before they got the medics out there. Thankfully, the wife survived, but she had 10 days in jail, and then she's on probation for however long. But there you go.
Wait, we all had our frequent flyers.
Yeah, well, yeah, this is like a little beyond that. Yeah.
So, like, we had a guy, Freddie Gomez, right? always claimed he had asthma. And we would get 3 phone calls a day to the same location, and it was all for Freddie. He wanted to go to the hospital. He couldn't breathe. He had asthma.
Yeah.
So one day we get a call at 8:30 in the morning, and it's me and a girl named Cindy Davis. So we go to Essex and Amesbury Street. When you know, it's Freddie Gomez, right? So we get there. I said, Cindy, you drive. I get in the back. So I get in the back. I said, Cindy, go ahead. Go about 10 miles an hour. So I get the back doors open. I go, Freddie, come on. If you want to go to the hospital, you got to catch us, right? So he's running. I get the back doors of the truck open. He's running to try to jump in. And the closer we get to the bumper, Cindy would step on it and go a little faster, and then have to run a little faster to catch us. Finally, when we get to the next set of lights, we stopped and let him in. But we all do stupid shit like that. You know?
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, this story in particular, this is Crenshonda Williams, is this young lady's name. Well, she's not young. She's 44. All right. So she spent it. Well, what happened here? This is in 2016. She worked there for a year and a half before she was finally caught. And she was caught because supervisors were performing monthly audits and noticed a high volume of Williams' calls lasted less than 20 seconds, known as short calls. So they went into, checked it out, so forth and so on. And it wasn't 800, it was thousands that she hung up on. Calls for help during robberies, homicides, emergency medical calls, so forth and so on. Now, this is going to be in Harris County, Texas, okay, which is like the Dallas area, which has gone completely off the deep end and is completely liberal. She was sentenced to 10 days in jail and 18 months of probation and fired, of course. I mean, at least they gave her some jail time, but I mean, shit, come on.
They actually fired her?
Yeah, they fired her, yep.
For something like that?
Yep. Let's see. Calls included one where a caller tried to report a violent robbery, another where the caller dialed 911 concerned about 2 drivers racing, where somebody was killed speeding just weeks earlier. Why did they do that for her? They had, it was just, that's ridiculous. But yeah, okay.
Yep.
Interesting story.
And that's the thing is, I made the comment earlier, there's a lot of things that go on in your government that you don't know about. That's also at the state and local level as well. Look at a woman by the name of Denise Amber Lee. She was a young mom. She was at home. Guy knocks on the door. She opens it. He grabs her, ties her up, drags her out, gets her in the back of the car. And as he's driving around with her, she is actually able to call 911. But the 911 operator didn't do her job. She was writing a lot of things down on paper. Like, she knew this girl was kidnapped. There was a full description of the car. They knew what was happening. She described the suspect, the whole 9 yards. Now, keep in mind, this girl, her father is a deputy sheriff for the county that they're in. Okay. So he works with this dispatcher, and as she's given updates of where they are, she's writing it down on paper, and she's not updating the units that are sitting out there looking. Long and the short of it, she realizes she's going to die. So she starts pulling her hair out, putting it in the seats, takes her wedding ring off. Long and the short of it, she was brutally assaulted and then shot in the head before this guy was arrested. And when they went back and looked, they pulled the tapes, and this woman, they had a nickname for her, like Paper Patty or whatnot. She would not follow protocol or procedure and update the CAD system as it's happening, and then tell the officers, like, hey, you're looking for a teal Camaro, you're looking for this, male in his 40s, here's the description. She's just writing everything down on paper. Well, when are you going to give that information out? Long and the short of it, this poor woman dies before policies get updated. This happens all throughout the country. So that's why they tried doing a huge overhaul on the 911 system. But you see something like this pop up, and with DEI, you most of the time, I'll tell you this, most of the time, you couldn't, on those audits, when you look through the EMD or you're trying to do quality assurance, especially if it's a union shop, you're not allowed to give corrective you're not allowed to give like peer-based review or help, or hey, I'll help remediate you. There's no punishment, nothing like that. Well, you can't do it because the union considers it punishment. So somebody can give the wrong instructions for 20 years, and that's okay. That's the world we live in.
Yeah.
That's what. Here's a little tip for our viewing audience. If you ever need help, right, call the police or the fire department directly. Do not, and I repeat and I emphasize, with a capital D and an O, do, and a capital N and an O and a T. Do not call 911. Because what's going to happen is you're going to call them, say, hey, I need an ambulance, a fire truck here, but blank, 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 blank. Here's what's going on. And they're going to have you on the phone asking you 9,999 questions. In the meantime, if it's a house fire, you're trying to get your shit and get out of your house, and these retards are calling you back, asking you 999,000 questions. It doesn't work. Or you're trying to do CPR on somebody, and your phone's constantly. So I just called, say, hey, I need an ambulance here. I need this there, that there. Bang, here I am. Boom. And then don't answer your phone again because you're screwed if you do.
Okay. Remember, folks, opinions are our own and in no way reflect the
Yes, if you don't know how to do CPR, 911 operators can tell you how to do it.
I've been butt fucked before. Don't call 911.
Yeah, okay. But opinions are our own.
I did it. I did it for 16 years. You can.
Yeah.
You absolutely can.
Just as an advisory. But surprisingly enough, though, with Chris Wanda's case or whatever, her lawyer said that it was because the 911 system was inadequate because it kept dropping calls and shit, and that she was having a hard time at home, and that she was just a poor performing employee, and that's but he expects the case to be overturned on appeal. So. So that's a good one. I'm glad you brought that up, Professor. That's a pretty good case or call, whatever. I don't know. Oh boy. All right. Well, we've covered an interesting gamut of things tonight.
How about the fact that elephants are smarter than human beings?
We knew that one.
I would not take that bet. I would agree with that completely. So are dolphins.
Did you see the video yesterday in San Diego where they had the earthquake?
Yes.
At the San Diego Zoo, all the elephants formed a circle to protect the little ones.
Really? That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Human beings
won't do it.
Fuck you, you're on your own.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, you guys haven't brought up Hegseth. What happened with that?
With Pete?
Yeah.
The whole Kash Patel, did you see him today with Pam Bondi when they were talking about suing Janet Mills?
No.
Here he is with a baseball cap on and his eyes crossed and a zip-up coat. He's looking like this.
Well, Hegseth's one of his staffers, number one staffer got fired.
For leaking,
For leaking.
Everybody's a disappointment. Sorry.
Well, how's that Hegseth's fault?
Huh?
How is that Hegseth's fault?
I'm just saying, Patel's a disappointment. Bondi's a disappointment. So Bondi, the best they can do is go after Janet Mills, right? Instead of going after, real criminals. I'm going.
Oh, yeah, I know where you're going. Oh, which, now that's another interesting thought. President Trump has designated a no man's land along the southern border through California, Arizona, and Mexico.
Yeah, and the Supreme Court said he couldn't do it because he did it under the Roosevelt thing, but it's not really considered a military base per se. So they wanted to give the troops just carte blanche to do whatever they want.
Yeah.
But some judge already jumped in and said, no, you can't do it because it's not a legitimate military base.
Well, I'll have to look into. Yeah, I believe you, but we're gonna have to look into that tomorrow. I think there's gonna be that story. But the concept, though, is a good idea.
Because the concept was a good idea, but
and
I think that these rogue judges kind of figured out what was going on. They said no.
Well, the way that I understood that they were going to get around that, though, was that they were going to, all the military was doing was observing and detaining for either Border Patrol or whoever would come in and pick them up.
Yeah.
So that wasn't a problem. I mean, they couldn't, it wasn't really direct action other than just detaining. They weren't arresting, or they weren't, assaulting. They weren't doing what the military is supposed to be doing, which is killing people and blowing shit up. They were just detaining them for civilian authorities within that specific no man's land, I guess, free fire zone, whatever you want to call it. So anyway, yeah, that's interesting though. That's something.
I mean, so getting back to the original question about Pete Hegseth, I mean, I haven't seen massive amount of body bags filled up. Have you?
Well,
I haven't, but that might not be a bad thing.
Where's the war fighter? That's all he talked about. War fighter.
Well,
I feel
I think he is
all we
overhauling.
got is a
right?
bunch of Girl Scouts selling fucking cookies.
Well, I think he is doing. He is making improvements, right? I mean, look at how many top commanders just been getting kicked out of places because they're trying to be activists. So
Yeah.
I'm at least happy with that.
Yeah, and recruiting standards are being met, if not exceeded,
Mhm.
On a regular basis now, as opposed to being down 90% from when Biden was in office. So that in itself is a pretty good activity, goal, whatever. Okay. Well, let's see, fellas. You guys want to do the? We don't need to take a break. We're probably not going to finish the whole hour anyway. You guys want to do the X lightning round thing here?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
All right. We already talked about Senator Chris Van Hoffen. We need to do him again. Let's see. What? Oh yeah. Okay. This is kind of an interesting. This Carmelo Anthony's case.
Yeah. So the killer's out. So they use this GoFundMe thing or whatever,
Oh,
and they raised enough to make bail, but they also got enough money to buy a brand new $400,000 house.
I thought it was 800,000. Was it four? Yeah. It was
Oh, okay, 400,000 for that. But maybe you're right. But
yeah. Regardless,
how does that happen?
That's because that's a GoFundMe account, and my understanding was GoFundMe would shut that kind of shit down in a heartbeat.
But
it's a different type of Go. It's not GoFundMe, but it's a thing like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kyle Rittenhouse was in jail for how long?
Yeah,
he was in there for how long before he got out, right? This kid brings a knife to a track meet, stabs a student, and then everybody's throwing money to get him out. Interesting. Okay, I see where we're at.
Yeah, makes no sense to me whatsoever. Let's see. Yeah, there's families reported living large if he admitted stabbing Austin Metcalf in the heart for simply grabbing him. They moved into a $900,000 home, and they bought a new car and said, thanks to the suckers who helped the family raise nearly $500,000. Okay, that sounds about right.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have all right, so we have the video thing about the that Amazon spacecraft thing looks like Temu made it. I don't know what it's it kind of looks like
It reminded me of that scene from Austin Powers.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
When the spaceship was flying over, they all thought it was the massive penis.
Right.
Operation Preparation H.
Preparation H,
something like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. All right. Okay. Well, that's all right. A lot of this shit we already talked about. Okay, we don't need to do that. He says, Bill immediately points to the teacher and said, did you see that? You just hit me. Okay, no, don't worry about that. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to find
No, it's all good.
Molly Ringwald. Remember her from the Breakfast
I do.
Club and whatever?
Yeah.
Okay. Molly Ringwald calls the Breakfast Club very white. It doesn't represent our world today. Okay.
Well,
that's from
Well, I guess my question to Molly would be, what does?
That's what happens when time goes by, right? I'm
Right.
sure if in another 100 years, what's happening right now won't reflect what's happening then. So, are we going to be ashamed of it or what?
I mean, I always, I can understand, when was the Breakfast Club?
I don't know, 80 something.
Yeah,
Early
so
80s.
she's probably butthurt over sagging tits and everything else,
but,
so
I mean,
I
but
understand that.
But who
Well-
cares though? You know.
Yeah. Well, look, Snow White used to be white, and then they made it not white, and then there you go. So let's
And they
not be
lost
let's not be sad.
Yeah, they lost millions of dollars. But anyway, that's from Cat Turd, who's
Hey,
responsible.
didn't Snow White just flop?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
Hey,
yeah,
well,
definitely.
Let me tell you something. If I was a shareholder in Disney,
I'd be asking for my money back right now.
I would be on the phone with the SEC going, hey, these people aren't actually looking out for our money. So there's that.
Yep.
Let's see. Okay, let's see. That doesn't. Yeah, I don't got that. There's Letitia James. Looks like everything's talking about the same kind of shit here. What is this? Should be able to record. Okay, no, it doesn't.
No, she's ready to take on Trump again. That's what she said.
Yeah, good luck with that. She might as well start getting ready for her orange jumpsuit. Or something like that. Oh yeah, okay, yeah. Back to the Carmelo Anthony guy. Purchased a fully loaded Cadillac Escalade at $150,000 after his bond was lowered to $250,000. Okay.
Thank you, Annie. God bless you.
Okay. All right, this is a good question for you guys. Do you support the federal government withholding all funding from Harvard University?
Yes, 100%.
Without a shadow of a doubt.
I voted for all of this too.
Yeah, definitely. No tax exempt status with all this bullshit. All that kind of stuff.
I'm all in favor of them suing the state of Maine too.
So
Yeah.
am I.
Yeah. Well, that's something. Yeah, that's something Pam Bondi's doing. All right. Damn, I'm having a hard time finding anything. Got shut up for.
It looks like we're on top of it.
Yeah. No, can't do that. Let's see. Michael Jackson impersonator running into. Oh, two Michael Jackson impersonators run into each other at the mall. Okay. It's like nobody thought they were real anyway. Holy shit! There's not much going on in the Twitterverse here that we haven't already discussed.
You mean we got no lightning round?
I'm not finding any lightning. I'm just finding stuff we've already talked about. Let's see here. I'm still looking. I haven't given up yet. Here's another politician. Delia Ramirez is planning to go to El Salvador to free MS-13 member, whoever she is. She's a representative of somebody.
Mm.
Oh, remember Keith Olbermann? What the hell happened to him?
Yeah.
He's demanding the arrest of Kristi Noem and Tom Homan. Yeah, okay.
Yes, because of some federal judge
Mm-hmm.
said that and I'm quoting him. He's holding the federal government in contempt of court, and he also said that he's going to hold. He's going to have the U.S. Marshals take Trump administration officials into custody. So, if the Marshals are responsible for protecting like Noam and stuff, I wonder what they're going to do.
Yeah, no shit.
So I would tell you what I would do. Last
time I checked, Kristi Noem carries a gun. If somebody tried to take me into custody, I'd shoot him.
Yeah. So this is where we're all supposed to be adults, right? When it comes into that, right? If an activist judge is having a temper tantrum and throws out an order, this is now where we have to make the decision. What orders are lawful to follow, right? Remember, there was a group of people that said, "Hey, I was just following orders," and the whole world said you should have said no. This is one of those instances where you should just say no. I'm not going to do that. You can wait out the 4 years. I mean, you start trying to do something like that, people are going to get hurt, right? Because there's going to be one side that says, "Hey, our job is to lay our lives on the line for this." The other side's going to say, "Hey, well, we've got a warrant." And then how embarrassing would that be if, government agencies start shooting it out with each other over
Oh, it would be
activists.
ridiculous. I
You know,
can't imagine that.
Hey,
happening.
I absolutely see this happening, though. That's why I'm bringing it up.
That's why
I will absolutely see it happening.
Absolutely, I agree 100%. That's going to happen.
Mhm. Well, I would hope not. Well, speaking of judges, I think we talked about that earlier. The whatever judge hanging balls or ball hanger or whatever the hell his name is. His wife and his daughter both run NGOs that are very active in expatriating illegals and in that community for millions. I'm sure the government gives them millions of dollars. So how in the hell?
See how shocked I looked? See how shocked I looked? Right?
Yeah. How has he not recused himself, and why is
exactly?
He said today, he goes, the Supreme Court already ruled that I don't have jurisdiction, but he goes, that's not the issue before the court. What's before the court is the fact that I gave an order and it was disobeyed. So
yeah,
that's what he's humping that's what he's humping the leg on.
Okay. How do you get rid of an activist, Judge?
You don't want me to say.
Legally. What's the process?
Well, we got to go back to New Mexico. Remember Billy the Kid?
Uh-huh.
Remember what he did in the courthouse?
Yep.
What happened to him?
So he escaped.
After he killed the sheriff, what happened to him?
He escaped, didn't he? I don't know. What
There's
happened?
a tree outside the courthouse called the hanging tree.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Do you still want me to elaborate?
Sure. For the judge, yeah.
Be it as it may.
Yeah, probably not. So.
And that's the tough part is the judges aren't supposed to make up laws on their own, you know, and that's why
they do. They legislate from the bench.
They legislate from the bench.
They think they're entitled to do that.
Right, because nobody's told them otherwise. They're supposed to be triers of fact. That's it. They're supposed to find the truth. That's it. The prosecutor presents a case. The defense attorney tries to refute that case, and the judge is supposed to determine what's true and what isn't based on the evidence. That's it. They're not supposed to legislate. They're not supposed to litigate. That's not their job. So somebody somewhere along the line, that's one of my question. How is there a process to stop that shit? Somewhere in the Constitution, somewhere in government. Why? And if so, why?
I mean, read the Constitution. It says it spells out the Supreme Court. Nowhere does it say the judge from the First Circuit in Boston or the Ninth Circuit in California, or one judge can override the president of the United States.
Right, that's just not possible.
The way the Constitution is, it's the executive, it's the legislative, and it's the judiciary.
Right. So I don't know why that can't be fixed. Man, I'm not finding anything in here that has anything that's even worth talking about that we haven't already. That's weird.
Sorry, I think we got 8 minutes, and I'm sure we're gonna have a long closeout, anyways.
Yeah, let's just go ahead and be done with that. We're pretty much done with this. Yeah, there's nothing here. Well, that's kind of scary, actually. What the hell is going on in the Twitterverse? Okay. All right, fellas. Well, this is it. I guess it's been a fun couple of years, or however long it's been. But
it has been fun.
Yeah, I mean, Professor, you kind of came in on the tail end of this, but unfortunately, but it doesn't mean we'll find something else to do. I don't know how to get around. I don't know. I think we're all tired. We need a break, a rest. I know I certainly do.
Absolutely. I think I was toying around. I don't have time right now, but I am toying around with a radio podcast at some point, and covering everything from religion to politics to hobbies, stuff like that. So if I get the time and actually get that going, I'll let you guys know, because obviously I'd love to have everybody on. So I'm not a big fan of video, but there'll be plenty of good audio. So
okay, that sounds like a plan. Well, shit. All right. Well, should we go ahead and wrap this up, fellas?
Yeah.
All right.
Sure.
And I'm not at all surprised. In keeping with Restream, I had a really nice nuclear explosion, or like to end our show with, to take it out with, and it has since disappeared. I have no idea where it went, which is pretty much about right for Restream. You know, that's it's a fitting end for for our experience with them. So we're gonna go to a new platform. We're gonna go back to Zoom most likely, which is where we started at many years ago, or however many years ago. You know, we've had some great guests. We had Pete Forcelli. We had who else did we have on the
Roger Palmisano.
Yeah, right in the early days. That was the guy that did the Boston bombing.
Yeah, John Tomasi.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So in the early days, we had some really good guests on, and then we kind of got into doing our own stuff and all this kind of stuff. So we had no nuclear explosion. I'm sorry, fellas. It was going to go, and that was going to be the end of the show for our final countdown. But that's gone. So I guess we'll just go ahead and wrap it up. Professor, do your closing.
Sure. So, you know, like always, get some training, right? If you can, reach out to, you know, I-12GIA. You'd be surprised if you're a firearms owner and you've never had a firearms class. You take one, it improves your skills by at least 50%, right? You know, look for the training, practice. You know, sometimes it could be tough, especially if you're on a budget, but go shooting once a month, take a first aid class, something like that. Help yourself, right? Because we can't rely on anybody else. But get some training. And if I could, since I don't care at this point if YouTube's going to kick us off, I would just like to, you know, I come on here and I complain a lot. I talk about politics. I never give enough praise to God. So I just like to read my favorite Psalm, Psalm 91. It helps me. It's helped me through a lot of things. And I would like to at least pass on something good to whoever watches this. Psalm 91, assurance of God's protection. He who dwells in the shelter of the Most High, who abides in the shadow of the Almighty, will say to the Lord, my refuge and my fortress, my God in whom I trust. For he will deliver you from the snare of the fowler and from the deadly pestilence. He will cover you with his pinions, and under his wings you will find refuge. His faithfulness is a shield and buckler. You will not fear for the terror of night, nor the arrow that flies by day, nor the pestilence that stalks in the darkness, nor the destruction that wastes at noonday. 1,000 may fall at your side and 10,000 at your right hand, but it will not come near you. You will only look with your eyes and see the recompense of the wicked, because you have made the Lord your refuge, the Most High your habitation. No evil shall befall you, no scourge come near your tent. He will give his angels charge of you and guard you in all your ways. On their hands they will bear you up, lest you dash your foot against a stone. You will tread on the lion and the adder, the young lion and the serpent you will trample underfoot. Because he clings to me in love, I will deliver him. I will protect him, because he knows my name. When he calls to me, I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will rescue him and honor him. With long life will I satisfy him and show him my salvation. God is there. You just got to look for him. If you have time, make time, pray. And I would just like to point out, this show started with buttholes and ended with the Bible. You're welcome. You're welcome. I just pulled that off.
Yeah, you did. Good job, buddy. Good job. Thank you for that. That won't get us kicked off anything. To do that, you got to compare somebody to a toilet brush or something.
Oh.
Whatever it was that Rennie got, or that the specialist did, that got us booted for a couple of days there. But yeah, thank you for that, Professor. That's good. Excellent. Specialist, go ahead. Let's hear your final thoughts.
I made a few words, so I'm just going to say a few words. But my next venture is I'm going to be a consultant to the porn industry. So that's where I'll be if you need me.
That's aka a fluffer. But you walked right into that one. I'm sorry.
You walked into that one.
Both eyes open and waving your hands in the air. All right. Oh, for fuck's sake.
There we go. There it is.
One up me. Oh my.
All right, folks. We're going to go ahead and close this out then. It's been an interesting 2 years. Now, thanks for sticking with us. As always, give the ones you love a big hug and keep them close and be prepared to self-rescue because ain't nobody coming to get you. And we will not be back next Wednesday night. And the fat lady, it's not over till the fat lady sings and the fat lady has sung. So we'll see you around someplace eventually. Be safe, folks.
God bless you all.
And we